But first, an event that took place just this Sunday, the RTHK WWF Mini Bird Race, and all about us was there.
And last thing, you have the checklist. I want you to fill in, tick as you go, and hand the checklist in to me, the official checklist, at the end, at 11:30. Okay, best of luck.
Best of luck.
Off you go.
With those few words, at 6:30 sharp on Sunday morning, the 4th of December 1988, Hong Kong's first ever mini bird race got underway at the WWF Nature Reserve at Mai Po, up in the northwest of the New Territories. For the next 4.5 hours, teams of students from 6 Hong Kong schools will be doing battle to see which one would record the largest number of species of bird, and incidentally help raise money for the WWF Education Centre at Mai Po. The 6 schools were St Stephen's Girls' College, Island School, KG5, South Island School, Tang Po and Ying College, and their sponsors were the Hong Kong Tatler, the Morning Post, the Hong Kong Standard, TV and Entertainment Times, TV Week and Sing Tao Yat Bo. Even for the non-bird watchers, there was no denying the beauty of the sunrise. And for the real enthusiasts, it was made even more memorable by the party of black-faced spoonbills taking their breakfast within easy spotting distance. From the spoonbills and the herons, duck and waders feeding in the gaywise, most of the teams then went through the security fence and out along the boardwalk through the mangroves to the hide, which sits out actually in Deep Bay itself. With the tide going out, this is where it was hoped that the big scores of shorebirds were going to be notched up. And sure enough, the birds were there. But several of the expected species were conspicuous by their absence this morning, especially the Dalmatian pelicans, who'd been seen only a few days previously.
Look over to the right here, there's a large dark grey bird with
no, wait, I've got one
black tips on it.
Check out the bouncer.
While the competitors tried to work out just what species were out in the bay, Mike Chalmers explained how the mini bird race works.
We've structured it on similar lines to the big bird race, which we hold in April each year. It's simpler because the teams are just here at Mai Po for the morning, but still the object is the same, to see as many birds, different kinds of birds, between the teams.
I hate to say this, but how does one ensure that those birds really are seen?
Well, I suppose that's really my job as adjudicator. Each team, though, has as well as a teacher with them, has a big bird race veteran, one of the people who've been involved with our annual event, and who knows a lot about bird racing, a lot about the birds in Hong Kong. So they really will, I think, see that the identifications are good. And at the end of the day, I'm there to add up the results and just make sure everything fits in with the rules that we've drawn up.
What sort of special things are you expecting to see today?
Well, this time of year is very good at Mai Po because we've got lots of birds coming for winter in Hong Kong and in the Deep Bay area in particular. So we see lots of water birds, lots of ducks and egrets and herons, birds like that. There's one or two rarities around which the teams might see. We have a black stork was seen yesterday. We're hoping we'll see that again today.
Anything else?
Oh, and we had a bird of prey, a Brahminy kite, has been around for the last 2 weeks. It's a young bird. It's rather difficult to tell apart from some other birds which might be here. I don't think it's been seen yet, but it's a possibility.
Remarkably enough, though, it was seen, only a few minutes later, sitting obligingly at the top of a pole. This is quite definitely the first Brahminy kite ever filmed in Hong Kong, and if it looks like just a black blob at the top of a pole to you, don't be discouraged, because that's roughly what it looked like to most of the experts too. It was a good half an hour before it was finally positively identified. A lot easier to put a name to were most of the other birds of prey that put in an appearance during the morning. There was this adult female eastern marsh harrier, for instance, coursing up and down hunting for ducks and other waterfowl, and with any luck catching one by diving on it from reed-top height. Then there were buzzards and a spotted eagle, spotted by nearly all the teams too, as he majestically rode the mid-morning thermals in the never-ending search for prey. There was also an imperial eagle who chose to put in an appearance while we were reloading the camera and who thus failed to feature in this programme. And although not strictly speaking an eagle at all, but having a whole classification to himself, the osprey, often to be found, if he's to be found at all, sitting on a post or piece of driftwood in the water on the lookout for fish, which he catches by snatching them out of the water with his feet. The black-eared kite's a familiar sight virtually everywhere in Hong Kong, but what's not such a familiar sight is a black-eared kite feeding. This young one was actually eating another bird, probably a warbler of some kind, probably one that he'd killed himself too, although the black-eared kite is perhaps better known as a scavenger rather than as a killer. It was breakfast time for bird racers too by now, and 24 ravenous competitors made short work of a small mountain of hamburgers, apple pie and soft drinks, thoughtfully provided free of charge by the people who've made Big Mac and Egg McMuffins household names around the world. While all this conspicuous consumption was going on, the press found time to do a little interviewing, and Ian Pooler of RTHK's Radio 3 had a few words with C.Y. Lamb, one of the big bird race veterans helping out.
How much value would you place on taking youngsters, school children, around nature reserves like this one at My Po?
Oh, I would think there is really a lot of value in this. They have been living in the concrete jungle for all too long. They don't really know how nature looks like. And if you take them out here, have a look, and realize what it really is. I mean, how God made this world look like. And I think they gradually learn to appreciate the value of wilderness. Normally, they won't think that wilderness has any value, but having been here, they, I think, are learning to appreciate it.
Certainly been a very nice day for it, hasn't it?
Yes, it's really a fine day, but I would find it a bit too hot.
The pace was hotting up a bit too by now, and the moment the food had gone, the teams were off for the last crucial sightings, with just 1 hour left. How did the experts think it was going?
Well, we're badly missing out on the shorebirds, and the variety of duck is not what it was 2 or 3 days ago, but plenty of birds here, and there's lots and lots to see.
Is there anything to make up for the ones that you haven't seen, any good ones that you've seen?
Yep, there's a number of spoonbill here today, particularly the black-faced spoonbill, which is rare, but in amongst them was a European spoonbill, which is rather special. There's a lovely tame spotted eagle about that's been perching nicely for everybody, so, yep.
How good is My Po Marsh as a place to come and watch birds, Clang?
Well, it's fantastic. I mean, you think this morning the tide's out, so that means most of the birds are out in the bay, and we're near 70 species this morning, and many of those have been seen supremely well at very close quarters. This place is magic. It's tremendous.
How many of those would be birds that you could see elsewhere in Hong Kong?
Very, very few, because the habitat now just doesn't exist anywhere else in Hong Kong. This sort of specialised marsh habitat is gone. It's been reclaimed. Mangroves have been torn up, ripped up. This is very, very special.
What about the rest of China? Are there other habitats like this in China?
There's probably, outside of Deep Bay, there's probably no mangrove left between here and Hainan Island, and we know that which is left at Hainan Island is terribly degraded, used for firewood. It's not allowed to get to any maturity, so this is very vital in terms of South China as well as Hong Kong.
And now time really was running out. One last look at those ballerinas of the wetlands, the black-winged stilt, and all too soon, it seemed, adjudicator Mike Chalmers was announcing the winners.
Island School, 76 birds. Tang King Po, 58. St. Stephen's, 65. KG5, 80. Ying 61. And South Island School, 78. So the winner is KG5.
And at the end of the day, had it all been worthwhile?
I think it went very well indeed. The children seemed quite happy running around, and I think it was a new experience and challenging.
And how about the money side of it, Mary? Because the idea was to raise money to buy a pair of monster binoculars, wasn't it?
Yes, well, we had some very generous sponsors, and it's a little early to say what the pledge forms will bring in, but I'm confident we'll be able to purchase the 2 binoculars.
And you're still open to offers if people watch this programme, think they might be able to help, they can help how?
By sending a donation to World Wildlife Fund.
Do you think there's any chance of this becoming a regular thing? Is there likely to be another one next year?
I would hope so. I think the children were interested enough, and I think we'll be able to get them back again.
Scenes from a really wonderful Sunday morning when a total of 98 different species were seen by all the teams combined. No results on the money front yet, as the pledges are still coming in. But if you feel you'd like to help in the purchase of 2 pairs of mammoth binoculars for the WWF Education Centre, then drop them a line at GPO Box 12721. That's WWF Hong Kong, GPO Box 12721. Or you could give them a ring on Hong Kong 261011. Hong Kong 261011. Now, don't go away, because we'll be back soon.